You ever have one of those mornings when reality feels like it's glitching? Like the world you woke up to isn't the same one you went to bed in? That was me this morning. My phone buzzed before the sun was even up. HR was on the line. The voice was calm, almost too calm, but the words shattered me. I'm sorry to inform you, your assistant, Claire, passed away early this morning. My chest sank. I couldn't breathe for a second. Claire wasn't just an assistant. She was like the heartbeat of my office. Organized, sharp, someone I relied on every single day. My mind started spinning. How? She was only 28, no medical issues. She was laughing at work yesterday. I hung up, sat on the edge of my bed, staring into nothing. The silence in my room was suffocating. I replayed every conversation we had, wondering if I missed a sign. Should I have noticed something? Should I have asked her how she was feeling? I felt guilt crashing over me before the day had even begun. I couldn't process it, but I knew I had to face it. I dragged myself to the office, expecting grief, maybe flowers, maybe people whispering. What I didn't expect was for her to be sitting at her desk, typing away like nothing had happened. I froze at the door. For a moment, I thought maybe my mind was playing tricks on me, like when you lose someone and you still hear their voice or see them in a crowd. But this wasn't a trick. Claire was there. She looked up, smiled at me, the same warm smile she gave every morning. "Good morning," she said, like it was just another Tuesday. My throat tightened. I couldn't speak. I just stood there, staring. She tilted her head, confused. "Everything okay?" she asked. I nodded slowly, forcing myself to move. My mind was screaming, how is this possible? HR said she was dead. Was it a mix-up? A cruel joke? Did they mean another Claire? I wanted to ask her, but how do you ask someone if they're supposed to be dead? Instead, I walked into my office, closed the door, and called HR back. "You told me Claire died this morning," I whispered. The woman on the line didn't hesitate. "Yes, I'm so sorry. She was found in her apartment early today." My stomach dropped. "That's impossible," I said. "She's here. She's at her desk." Silence on the other end. Then, the voice said something that made my blood run cold. "That's not possible. We identified her body ourselves." I leaned back in my chair, palms sweaty. If HR wasn't mistaken, then who, or what, was outside that door? I peeked through the blinds. She was still there, answering emails, sipping coffee. Everything about her looked normal. Too normal. That's when I noticed something. She was wearing the exact same outfit she had worn yesterday. Same blouse, same necklace, same little ink stain on her sleeve. At first, I thought maybe she didn't have time to change. But then it hit me. What if she wasn't real? What if she was something else? I had read about glitches in the Matrix. People seeing dead relatives for a moment before they faded. But Claire wasn't fading. She was stapling papers. She was picking up phone calls. She was alive. My phone buzzed again. It was a text from Claire's mother. Just 3 words. "We lost her." My chest tightened. They had no idea she was here. I had to test this. I stepped out of my office, walked up to her desk. My voice cracked. "Claire, can you step inside for a second?" She nodded, cheerful as always, and followed me into the office. I closed the door, my heart pounding. "I need to ask you something," I said. She smiled, waiting. "Do you know what happened this morning?" Her smile faded, just slightly. Her eyes narrowed. And then, she said the last thing I expected. "You already know what happened, don't you?" The room went silent. My pulse was so loud in my ears, I could barely hear myself breathe. What do you mean by that? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. Claire didn't look confused, didn't even blink. She just stared at me with eyes that seemed deeper than before, like there was something hiding behind them. I think you already know, she repeated, her tone almost mechanical. I wanted to believe this was some sick prank. Maybe HR made a mistake. Maybe Claire had a twin sister nobody knew about. But the way she was looking at me, it didn't feel human. I swallowed hard. HR called me. They said you died this morning. Her expression didn't change. Then, slowly, she tilted her head and smiled again. But this smile didn't reach her eyes. Would you prefer I wasn't here? She asked softly. My heart stopped. That wasn't a normal question. That was something darker, something probing. I forced a laugh, trying to break the tension. No, I'm just confused. That's all. She leaned closer, too close. Don't be confused, she whispered. I'm here now. Isn't that enough? And with that, she walked back to her desk like nothing happened. But I knew, in that moment, whoever she was, it wasn't the same Claire I knew yesterday. The rest of the day was a blur. Every time I looked at her, I saw the same motions. Typing, answering calls, writing notes. But when no one else was watching, she would look at me, just stare, not blinking, like she was waiting for me to say something, or maybe waiting for me to crack. I tried to act normal, but inside, panic was tearing me apart. After lunch, I went outside to clear my head. My phone buzzed again. This time, it was an email from the hospital, a death certificate, Claire's name, signed and sealed. My hands shook as I scrolled through it. Cause of death, cardiac arrest. Time of death, 3:27 a.m. I checked the time. At 3:27, I was asleep, dreaming, maybe still dreaming. I rushed back inside. She was still there, still alive. That's when I decided I had to confront her again. I couldn't live in this nightmare of not knowing. I walked straight up to her desk. Claire, I said, my voice louder than I intended. She looked up, calm as ever. Yes? I leaned in. Who are you really? For the first time all day, she didn't smile. Her face went blank, empty. She whispered something I'll never forget. I'm whoever you need me to be. Her words echoed in my head like a haunting melody. Whoever I needed her to be. That wasn't Claire. That wasn't even human. I backed away, heart racing, trying to make sense of it. She returned to typing like nothing happened, but every keystroke felt like a countdown to something worse. I called HR again, desperate for answers. This time, I demanded to see the records myself. They hesitated, but eventually agreed to send me the official report. While waiting, I couldn't focus on anything. I watched her move, her gestures, her patterns, and then I noticed something terrifying. She never blinked. Hours went by, and her eyes never closed. Not once. Not even when she laughed on a phone call. It was subtle, but now that I noticed, I couldn't unsee it. The report came through email. Photos. Actual photos of Claire's lifeless body on a hospital bed. My stomach twisted. There was no denying it now. She was dead. And yet, a few feet away, she was answering the phone like it was just another day at the office. I didn't know if I was losing my mind, or if something truly impossible was happening. And then, just before the end of the day, she slipped a note onto my desk. No words, just a symbol. A circle with a line through it. I had no idea what it meant, but I knew one thing. This wasn't over. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her face, not Claire's face. The thing pretending to be her, that smile that didn't touch her eyes, those endless stares. The note burned in my pocket. I couldn't stop staring at the symbol, trying to figure it out. I searched online, desperate for answers. Hours passed until I found something. The symbol had appeared in old texts, old forums. People claimed it was tied to entities that could mimic the dead, doppelgangers, spirits, beings that slipped into our world when someone died suddenly. My blood went cold. Was that what she was? A replacement? Something that wore her skin but wasn't her. The next morning, I walked into the office with dread. She was there, of course, already at her desk. "Good morning," she said, voice sweet as ever, but I couldn't bring myself to respond. Instead, I asked her straight, "Why me? Why are you here?" She looked up, eyes darker than before. "Because you believed in me," she said. My skin crawled. "Believed in what?" She smiled, leaned forward, and whispered, "That I could never leave you." Her words clung to me like chains. I realized then that whatever she wasn't random. She was connected to me somehow, feeding off me, maybe even tied to my grief, my disbelief. The more I tried to deny her, the more real she became. That day, strange things started happening in the office. Lights flickering, phones ringing with no one on the other end. Co-workers mentioned feeling cold drafts, hearing whispers when no one was there, but no one suspected Claire. To them, she was just Claire. Alive, normal. It was only me who saw the cracks. At one point, I dropped a file, and when I bent down to pick it up, I caught a glimpse of her legs under the desk. They weren't moving. They weren't even sitting properly. They were twisted, bent at angles no human body could manage. I staggered back, but when she stood, her body was perfectly normal again. She looked at me, eyes wide, as if daring me to say something. I couldn't, but deep down, I knew I wasn't working with my assistant anymore. I was working with something else.